And I drove this morning. I was driving. I drove right past the Phillips 76 oil refinery down in Wilmington, California, and I'm like, damn, it's right there. Why is it? Can I get it wholesale?
I wish.
In California, we got all these like regulations, like the summer blend, winter blend, and it is nuts. I don't know what's going to happen. So, how's the sound? Everything's good?
Everything's good.
All right, we are live. Welcome back. Dominate your trade, kick your competition's ass. I'm excited today. We have Miss Tiffany with us, Miss Tiffany Tillema, and she's going to be sharing with us. They've been in business since '93, Tillema Sons Masonry. So, man, she's got a lot of stuff she's going to share with us. Some fun stories. Stick around. You don't want to miss it. All right, we're back. All right, we are back. Hey, and I upgraded my program here, so we're going live on all kind of different channels and YouTube and all over the place. Hey, so Miss Tiffany, go ahead and first of all, tell us about Tillema Sons Masonry. I mean, you guys have been in business since '93, but I don't know, just give us a little rundown. How many employees you guys have? What give us a little bit, and then we'll get into your history.
I actually had 3 guys quit today.
Wow, that's the way to start off a podcast.
They were all brothers, so one wanted to quit, so they all did. But so minus those 3, I have 12 employees right now, and then I have 3 here in the office besides me. So 14, 15 employees. Like you said, we do masonry work. We started out doing only residential. Now we're doing commercial, residential, repair work, restoration. We do it all. We have 2 or 3 crews sometimes working all over the place.
Man.
But yeah, when I started out in 1993, we had just got married. My husband and I just got married. And my granddad was a general contractor, so I learned a whole lot from him. Mm-hmm. I was on my first job when I was 9 years old.
Good for you.
That's back before OSHA was involved in all that.
They should have stayed out. Yeah.
I shouldn't have been on the job, but I was. So yeah, I did all kinds of stuff. I worked in the office. I worked on the job. Then we got married, and we started from the ground up.
Yeah. So
we had nothing. I worked a full-time job and worked our company.
Worked with the company. So let's back it up to when you were 9. But you said your granddad was a GC. Mm-hmm. Man, so you grew. So right now I know you're in Texas. Did you grow up in Texas?
Yes, always been in Texas. Always actually been no further than 100 miles from Dallas.
Wow. So now your granddad was a general contractor. What did your dad do?
My granddad was the general contractor, and that was my mother's father.
Oh, okay.
It was my maternal grandfather. And as far as I can remember, he was a farmer and he did general contracting. He started doing that in the Depression, the contracting, because the farming wouldn't do it any good. So that's how he got started, general contracting. He, at the end, before he started to retire, he was doing mostly masonry work. My dad worked for him. All of my uncles worked for him. And then, like a dummy, I married one.
So the uncles and everything. So they all worked for him. But did he ever consider it like a real company, a big company, or was he just doing it and everybody was there to show up?
I only wish I could be like him.
Is that right?
I'll never be as big as he was.
Wow.
That man put so much back extra. He gave the government extra money so that when he retired, he could live on retirement without having to worry about ever working again. So he ended up getting almost $4,000 a month.
Wow, good for him.
1980, he quit in 1980, and he was getting $400 a month. It kind of went down after that towards the end. But But yeah, he was huge.
That's amazing that he had that insight, because I know I didn't. I know I didn't or wouldn't. And I know most contractors, I mean, God, the guys that I started with, I mean, they were 70 something and working. And I mean, if they didn't work, they didn't have any money. And that was one of the things that scared me as a kid. I was like, shit, I don't know if I can do this when I can barely do it. I'm 20 years old. I can't do it when I'm 77.
Like I said, I wish I could be like him.
Yeah.
Because his guys never went hungry.
Yeah.
He had enough saved back that when we had a rainy week,
yeah,
or if everything was frozen over, because in Texas we don't tent everything and
yeah,
do it in the wintertime because it's usually only a couple of days that it's cold. But there was one week in the 80s that it was so cold all week long that they couldn't work at all.
Mm.
He paid their salary like they had actually worked when they didn't work, so that they could feed their families.
Man, good for him. Hey, do you think because he went through the Depression, or he was at that age, he kind of seen some stuff that that kind of led him towards he knew he should save or something?
I think so. I think that was a big part of it. He knew that if he didn't put it up, that he wouldn't have it in the future, because it could happen again.
Yeah, because I know growing up. Yeah, no, because I know growing up, I lived like almost 4 years with my grandmother in North Carolina, my granny. And I mean, she really shaped me. I mean, she just, she'd hit you at the drop of a hat. I mean, it's like there was no back talking, there was nothing. But she was like, because they went through that whole Depression. The house that she lived in, her dad had built, it was one room, and her dad and then her husband, that they got married, they just added on rooms, and she had 9 kids. My dad being one of them. But
that's exactly the way that this was. And that's funny because mine was called Granny too. She never hit any new grandkids. I have the sole privilege of being the only grandkid she ever hit. So I must have been really annoying.
You must have been doing something. Oh,
she
man.
cried after that though, so I feel twice. I made her hit me and then I made her cry.
Hey, so going through man, you made her cry. See, you brought that, like, because when I was when I was 11 and didn't, because you had to work in the garden, and that's one of my big regrets is growing up with her and not paying attention to gardening, and because it's a science to growing stuff, and I didn't pay attention to it, and I wish I had.
My kids can garden.
Yeah, and she sent me out. I had to. Yeah, so she had sent me out one day, and I didn't want to go, and it was like, I don't know, there was probably like 20 rows of potatoes that I had to tiller in between. With the machine, you hold it with the handlebars, and it's tillering all the dirt, keeping it loose, and I didn't want to do it, and didn't do it right, and messed up a lot of the plants, and man, that's the one time she didn't spank me, and I wish she had, because it upset her so much that she just cried, and that hurt me more than her getting mad at me. And man, and that was some of the stuff as a kid growing up. That kind of shit just made me, like, I was like, and she had said, I would rather you not even did it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. But if you're going to do it, make sure you do it the best you can. And I know that ain't the best you can do, Brian, and all this. And that's, it still makes me like want to cry, thinking back, doing that crap. And that kind of shit led into when I went into construction is like, man, even as a kid, man, they say go out and get something. I'd run to the van, wouldn't know what it was. I'd grab 3 or 4 things that I thought they were asking for, and I'd run back. And they'd be like, damn, man. It's like, and no one else was doing that. I grew up, when I moved out to California. So as an employee, it's like, just, I don't know, I kind of had an upper hand on some of the other guys only because I was so used to working hard and running back and forth and not back talking at all. Some of the guys, the new guys would just, talking shit to the guys that we worked for. And I didn't. It's like, I still, you just didn't do that. And so I had my manners from North Carolina when I came out here. And I think that really helped me. So when you were growing up and going through like high school and stuff, did you think, I'm going to marry a construction dude?
No. No, that was not in my plans.
Yeah. and this is being recorded.
My plans were to get away from construction, not be right in the middle of it.
Well, what would you do if you didn't do the construction part?
Well, I don't know what I would have done. I did have a job as a vet assistant for a while, and I enjoyed that.
Yeah. Because I know it's like before we had kids and I was in construction, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get married. I'm gonna have 3 or 4 boys, and they're gonna be working with me. I'm gonna have a team, and I end up with like.
Yeah, that's what my husband said too. That's why he put "and sons" on the end of it.
Yeah.
And then they like both left and didn't want to do anything. Now they're back and they're working. So.
Well, yeah, that's good because all I had was girls, and then I thought, well, shit, man, and because I got into construction was the girl I was dating, her dad was in construction. I ended up working for him. So then I thought when I had the babies and they were girls, I thought, well, shit, they're gonna have to grow up and maybe their boyfriends will come work for me. But it's a whole different generation to where
the girls can work too.
Well, they are, and right now my daughter is studying. She's getting ready to take her contractor's license. She wants to do her own thing, and I'm glad you brought that up. That was one reason I was excited to have you here. And then next week we're going to have Mel Dion. She's a general contractor here in California, but and she's been in over 25 years, I think. But and I know what you do is. I tell guys that are trying to work by themselves, and I said, man, the first person you have to hire, I don't care if it's part-time, if it's a virtual assistant or something, is you need an office manager. You need someone to keep your ass straight. And our business started growing and we started doing better when I started shutting up and just listening to my wife, because she came to work to kind of do the books and do the office manager stuff and other things. And she'd say stuff and I was like, oh, well, you don't know, like this is construction. It's always been done this way. And then, man, the more I shut up and listened, the better things got. And it's crazy. It's so I know, but I don't know, it's like her and with you, man, there's a heavy load you have to carry.
Yeah, I've hired some people to help me.
Yeah.
I had to get some of that taken off my back and my shoulders because starting to bend over.
It is, and we get older. It's like it's just I don't know.
The more work you've got, the more you need somebody else to do the managing part. Somebody you trust, somebody you know can do it. Because, like right now, I'm doing mostly commercial, but I still want to help my fellow Winsboroans, or however you call us.
Yeah.
I live in a small town and I want to keep all my people I know happy. And so we do small jobs for them all the time, residential jobs. We're doing a restoration job right now in town that's going to be really cool when we get done with it. But but the commercial stuff, now that's really hard. And I'm going to say that you make more money with commercial construction, but it's a lot harder. There's more involved in it. There's more paperwork involved in it. So you really need an office manager if you're going to go into commercial.
Definitely more paperwork and forms to fill out. And just when we do commercial, it's just, it's like so many different things you have to answer to. And even now, a couple of the commercial jobs we've done, we've had to get, everything signed off on, but we've having to have them notarized. And I'm like, notarized? I said, and it's just, it's.
I have an in-house notary though, so that helps.
Well, we do too now. One of the guys that works for us, or one of the sales guys and stuff, he's a notary.
For a while, I was always running to the bank. I got to go to the bank and get this notarized.
Yeah. Yeah. And everybody's trying to cover their butts, I guess. But do you ever do any of the union jobs?
No, we don't. Texas is a free state.
Okay. Yeah. So. Good. Stay away from it. I mean, they charge big.
And my granddad, now, he did both.
Oh, okay.
He would go all the way up north and do jobs and, stay here and all that stuff. I don't want to do that. I'm closest to home as I can get is where I want to be.
So getting back to Tillema Sons, you've been in business since '93. Was your husband Peter? Was he already doing masonry before you guys got married, or did you guys get married and then you started?
He became an apprentice when he was 15. And when we first got married, he was here in Winsboro, and he had quit masonry for a little while, for a couple of years. Yeah. And he was milking cows. $180 a week.
Wow.
Yeah, we live it on $180 a week. And so he was just like, I really want to I want to start my own business. And I said, I'm up with that. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And we started with nothing but a couple of tools. And he would go to the job in the mornings. I would go with him. We'd set the job up. I would get everything ready for him. Then I would go to my full-time job. And then I would come back after I was done with my full-time job and help him take everything down and go home.
Yeah, man, and everybody watching this and stuff. I mean, you can Google, Tillman and Sons and stuff, but I mean, you guys have a great company now, and like you said, you got 15 employees, and I don't know if that's counting the 3 that just quit or not, but it's
no, that's not counting them. I just said
and people say, oh man, I want a company like Tiffany and them has. I'm saying, yeah, but are you willing to do what Tiffany and them did to get that job?
Yeah, that was hard. That was hard back then.
Oh,
I was essentially working 2 full-time jobs.
Yeah. Man.
Until we got to the point that I could do
just
more of the other stuff. He hired a couple of people.
So 93. I mean, you're like me. I mean, you way before the freaking internet. So how are you? How are you guys finding jobs and figuring that part out? Was it just all word of mouth, like everybody says, or
it's mostly word of mouth? Doing a good job so that people would say, "Oh yeah, I know somebody that can do that." Or newspaper. We did the newspaper. We did the passing out business cards, all that kind of stuff back then.
Yeah. And what was your like?
Just get in front of people,
Yeah, no, because man, that's probably even before you were like me, but that's maybe Microsoft was just coming out where you could type it, like the computer part and print out. But most of ours was like on the typewriter if we weren't handwriting it.
And I'm an artist too, so I drew most of our stuff, and wrote it out and all that stuff. So, I mean, I did some on the typewriter, but
so you had to file
it. Was hard. And then back then you didn't have pagers and phones either.
No, that was even before the pagers. That's right. Pagers. Okay. Wait. For some of the young guys watching.
I think it was 96 when we got our first pager, and then it was 97 when my first son was born. In 97, I got a big brick phone, the kind that goes in the car.
Yeah. Yep.
It looked like a telephone in the house, but it was inside of a bag.
Exactly. And sometimes I
thought we were really rolling in the dough then. I had to go in the car with me.
Because I think the first one we had, you almost had to hook. It was really because I forgot when they switched and started calling them cell phones, but they were called car phones for the longest, and they really were. They had to be in your car because they were hooked up to the freaking car battery. That was the big thing, and
you had a good battery.
Yeah, and then I worked for one contractor, and it's a general contractor, but he had his hooked up to where when it was in the car, when it rang, his horn would start beeping, beep, beep. So he'd run out there and answer it, and it was just, man. And for you young guys, the pager was the little thing that you hooked on your belt buckle when you thought you were cool, and it would beep because you got a phone call or something. It was just
it would beep. It would have the telephone number of the person.
That you
and then
call
you had
back.
to find a phone to call them back.
Yeah. Yep. And,
so you had to hope there was a payphone still around, or that somebody in the convenience store would let you use their convenience store phone. And if it was long distance, you could forget it. Nobody's gonna let you use the phone.
Man, those were the days. I remember it and I was so desperate for work type of deal. When that pager went off, I'd get off the freeway, like you said, you'd find a payphone and you'd sit there with a stack of quarters on it. Yeah, hey, this is Brian from over just calling you back, and because you wanted to get back to him, didn't want to lose the job. So you had the filing cabinets, everything. Actually,
I still have filing cabinets.
We do too. I think I did a video maybe a year ago now, but I still like the whiteboard. I still like being able to see everything instantly. The CRMs and the computer stuff, they have a place, but it's I'm still a firm believer in answering the phone and calling people back personally.
What happens if you don't keep paper goods in somewhere is something happens to your computer
Yeah.
it somehow, blows out or whatever and erases everything, you still have the paper.
Yeah.
They
So in
keep
two,
it.
so in 2000, 2003, when the internet was really, I mean, because before that we had the big box computer and we had the printer so we could do our invoices and print them out and all the other stuff. But then the internet really started, slowly changing things. How'd you guys transition into the internet? Because honestly, I sold my first company right right as the internet was starting, to where we got on first time we got on the internet. One, it was dial up, so that was a pain in the ass. You couldn't find anything because if you didn't do HTT, the backslash, if you didn't have every little symbol in there, you couldn't. So I said, man, this ain't ever going anywhere. But then I had sold the company right about that same time. And so 3-4 years later, when I got back into construction, the internet was going, full blast, and I already knew pretty much about it.
Yeah, back then, most of the time I didn't have a computer at home. So when I did do things on the computer, I did it at the local library because they let me use the computer for an hour for free.
Wow.
So I used their computer. I printed from their printer, and they charged me, I think it was $0.25 a page. It was pretty expensive.
Wow.
But yeah, I did most of it on their computers. When we first got cell phones, real cell phones, they were the flip phones.
Mm-hmm.
You had to punch the number 6 times to get to the letter you wanted.
Yeah.
So it took forever to text. But yeah, as soon as we got our first computer, we just took off.
And what do you mean by what do you mean by you took off?
I mean, using the computer really got things going really well. I was able to keep my files better. I was able to write proposals, and they looked professional.
Yeah.
I was able to write invoices that looked professional. I was able to email my clients like right away. When they emailed me, I didn't have to wait till the library opened the next day. So yeah, it really helped having our own computer.
Yeah. And it's funny you say that, because I tell people all the time, when I got back into construction, the internet was there, and it was like 100 times easier to build the business because of the internet, to where it was just night and day. It was just, man. And then with the videos and stuff,
they can really do something, because we had to learn from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
So it took forever to learn all this stuff. Well, now kids get on computers, and I have to ask my kids how to do things half the time, because I don't remember. And I learn pretty quick. So usually after asking once or twice, I can figure it out. But every time something new comes along, I have to relearn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
and you have to.
But kids today, they are raised knowing all that stuff already.
Yeah.
And when something new comes along, they just pick it up right away. So, any kid that's wanting to be a contractor can really, really do a lot of good and get really big really quick if they do it right.
If they do it right. And I don't know, I think sometimes like the older contractors who accept the internet or whatever, the new stuff that we have, man, I think they really do better than everybody combined, because man, you kind of take that old knowledge with the new knowledge, and you understand how valuable the new stuff is, because you used to do it this old way, and you're like, oh my God, and to where I think a lot of the younger people kind of like, I don't know, maybe either take advantage of it, but they don't also have, what I try to instill with them is that personal relationship, and the stuff that we used to do is just, the way we kind of grew up. I think, I don't know, it's a little bit different, to where, these guys are wanting to computers and programs and CRMs, and they want everything to kind of do it for them, so they don't have to talk to anybody or do it. And I'm like, dude, that's not business.
Yeah, my oldest one is my estimator.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got a program. I mean, he builds the building in that program before he ever even sends a proposal out.
Yeah, that's crazy. Good for him.
Build it brick by brick, and he puts all the numbers in. It tells him how much of everything we need, how much brick we need, how much block we need, how much mortar we need, how much grout we need, how many, linear feet of wire we need.
Yeah.
And then all he has to do is plug in the numbers of what things cost, and it tells me how much to put down.
Wow. That's
And
funny.
I looked at the program. There's no way I'd ever do it.
Yeah, and but your granddad, man, he could look at it, and with a couple of minutes, just because of his brain, would know exactly what it was going to take.
Yeah, he would bring the plans home. And
Yeah.
back then the plans weren't on computers. Plans
No.
were the big paper plans.
Yep.
And you had to pay for them.
Yep.
You had to pay for those plans, and they weren't cheap, to bring them home just to look at them and give them a proposal. Now you've got a computer, and you can pull those plans right up on the computer.
Yeah.
Blow up as big as you need, and you don't even have to pay a deposit for them. Some of them were just a deposit, but a lot of times you had to pay outright.
Yeah.
I remember Grandpa having to pay, and this was back in the 80s. I think it was $150 outright for a set of plans.
Yeah, because you didn't get just like you didn't just get the plans for your little thing. It's like, I remember when we used to get the plans, you had to roll it out, and it was everything, and you had to flip through all the pages and go back to here and look at that, and then do your measuring. Yeah.
But we do, if we need to look at something closer, because we're still a little old school.
Yeah.
So if we're looking on the computer and we see something that we want to take a better look at, I will send them off to the next town over
and have them
via
printed,
email, and they'll print it for me the size that I need. And so I still get plans like that. They don't cost me that much.
Yeah. If you're watching, no matter when you're watching this, you're watching it live right now. If you're watching it next week, whatever, send me a message or leave something in the comments. I wonder how many of the young contractors, subcontractors, even know how to read blueprints and stuff anymore. I know the generals do, but I don't know about the subs.
I'm going to say that most of them do. If you're in masonry, you do. You have to know how to read the plan, because you have to know where all your windows go and where all the flashing goes, and it gets really complicated.
Yeah, it does. It's crazy, man. It's so you and your husband, you're working full time at another job. He's busting his ass, and it's not easy. When did you start hiring your first one or two employees? And did you just hire friends that you knew, or what were you doing?
A lot of times we were still small enough that we hired one or two people every once in a while.
Yeah.
A lot of times they were just drifters and needed some extra cash or whatever. We really started in the 2000s. We started really getting serious about it. My husband went and drove a truck for a little while because he was just so sick of it.
Yeah.
For about 2.5, 3 years.
Yeah.
Came back and said, "Okay, let's start over."
Yeah.
And that's when we put the "and Sons" on the end, and we got really serious and started looking for real jobs and learning how to get your insurance and all your ducks in a row. And
so then you started turning it into then you started working on the business.
Yep.
Yeah. Good for you. So, and when you say started looking for the real jobs and stuff, how were you doing that?
Well, the internet was there now.
Yeah.
So it was a whole lot easier. I started out just putting stuff out there with emails, with still using flyers, still using the old school stuff, business cards, things that we still use today even.
Yeah. And then, so like with the employees that you have now, how do you hire those guys? How do you, are you going through the interview process? You got the questions? What are you training them? Or is it just friends of friends?
No. Half the time, I don't know any of the people that come in here.
Yeah.
We have people that come in on their own to the office and say, "Hey, I want a job."
Yeah.
We have people that come out on the job, and I always have a foreman on the job that can take care of that, tell me whether they think it would be a good fit for us or not. A lot of them get on the internet through Facebook. I've had people contact me through Facebook, and I've contacted them through Facebook saying, "Hey, I see you're looking for a job. Do you want to work for us?"
Yeah.
The internet does wonders.
Yeah. And
a lot of people, that's where they find us.
Yeah.
They find us on the internet, and then they call us and say, "Hey, you got a job for me?"
Yeah.
So most of the time we have an opening. Like the 3 guys that quit today, one of them didn't get along with my foreman. Well, that's just the thing. You don't get along with everybody.
Yeah.
It's just something that happens.
Yeah.
And so he didn't get along with my foreman, and so he quit. And he quit. His two brothers quit.
Yeah. Damn.
So I
Now,
got three at once.
and I'm kind of glad you brought that up, because last week we were talking, and if you've been in business long enough, the weirdest shit happens. I mean, it's just. But you were telling the story last week about somebody was robbing a store and they had your shirt on, one of the company shirts.
My hat. They had my shirt and my hat on. And what's funny is, I told you this last week. What's funny is, I'm seeing all the time, could you recognize this person, that's robbing this stuff? And it's all blurry.
Yeah.
It's all dark, and you can't tell, whatever. They have a mask on. No, not this. Just, full HD. Full HD. Perfectly.
That's all my.
You cannot deny this.
Man, it's funny, but it ain't funny. But man, I
love you. The police come to my front door at my office.
Yeah.
And they're like, we think somebody that may be connected to your company may have done this bad thing.
Well, it's like, why would you think that? Because they're wearing your hat, they're wearing your T-shirt.
I should have just went. I have no idea how they got my hat and T-shirt. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, man. It
was funny. It wasn't funny then.
No, it never is. Like
it's funny now.
Before I sold the first company, I was playing a lot of golf, and I was on like hole number 4 or something real early in the morning, and my phone is rang, and I was like, what the heck? And I didn't answer it, and it rang again. I didn't answer it, it rang again, and there was some guy, a buddy of mine, like 2 or 3 shops down from my shop, and he said, hey man, the police call you? I was like, I don't know, someone called. I didn't answer. He goes, yeah man, they're trying to call you, answer. I was like, oh my God, what? And so they called back, and I answered, and he goes, yeah, Mr. Adams, you need to come over here, blah, blah. And I was like, man, what's going on? And some guy that worked for us, and it didn't work out. The grace period, we say, we just, you're not a good fit for us. We're not a good fit for you. But he got pissed off and rode through and threw 2 or 3 bricks through all of our windows. And I was like, oh my God, it's just always something, always something.
Always.
So do you have an interview process that you do with them? Do you ever run ads where you're trying to hire people, or do you just got people that are kind of stepping in?
I have when I've gotten desperate, run ads. Right now, it's really hard to find people that want to work. They keep saying, no, it's not that, but you're not paying enough or whatever. I'm paying above what most Masons pay their guys.
Yeah.
I pay above that. Yeah. Whatever they're paying in Dallas, I'm paying you $3 to $5 more.
Yeah.
So it's not because I'm not paying you, but it's just hard to find somebody that wants to work. But I've had a lot of good fortune with Facebook employees. That works. I've had people come in. I've put ads out all over through Facebook. Not really paid ads, but just finding places in cities around where we have a job, and say, look, we're working in McKinney. Does anybody need a job? And I usually get 2 or 3 from that if I need it. Yeah. Right now we're pretty full. Right now we've got a lot of working, but there's always going to be an opening, always.
Yeah. And what like people watching this right now is what especially if you're like a contractor right now by yourself, or you got like a part-time helper or something, or even one full-time. Man, when you get 2 guys, 3 guys, 4 guys, like an office manager, a salesperson, and you guys like with 15 people, it's a lot of stress, because and it was hard for me to look in the beginning. I always looked at it, was like, oh my God, I got 2 or 3 guys, and they're married, they got kids, and it's almost like you're feeding and supporting 5 families. Yeah, and then it's like 18 families. And then it's like, and my friends would ask me, dude, what the hell? Like, what? I'm like,
the more people you hire, the more families you're feeding.
It is.
And right now I'm on a job, and the GC is a very slow payer. And that's very difficult.
Oh, it is.
Because even if you have money saved back to help pay those people, that money eventually runs out when you're not getting paid. And that happened to me a couple of weeks ago, and only 1 check bounced of all the guys that I've paid.
Yeah.
And I ended up having the money in there, but it was before they put that check in before the money came in.
Yeah.
And his poor wife called me crying.
Oh.
And I hated that. And I'm like, I'll pay you. Just give me a second. So I PayPal'd her. What I didn't know was that she just opened her PayPal account, which when you do that, PayPal holds it back for 10 days.
Oh my God.
So she calls me again and she says, it's not coming through. I mean, she was just hysterical.
Oh my God.
I had to call PayPal and just say, look, I've been with you, so many years, and I've got to get this money to this lady. And I had it to her within 24 hours.
Yeah, man.
But it's stressful. It
is. I tell these younger guys, I tell people in business, period. I said, man, you really haven't been in business until you've had to call all of your close friends and borrow money to make payroll.
Yeah. and that's what we had to do to combine, to get those checks through. I had to call on a fellow Mason and say, hey, could you front me, $10,000 this week and I'll have it back to you. Whatever, when this job is over or whatever, because this GC is not paying. They're paying, but they're really, really slow. And he did it for me, which was nice. But it's
these are great conversations.
It's very stressful.
Yeah, but us talking about this right now, I mean, there's going to be contractors listening to this going, oh my God, I thought I was the only one. I thought I was doing something right.
No, you're not the only one. It's still struggle.
No, yeah. Well, welcome to welcome to the world of owning your own business and people are relying on you and depending on you, and and then their cars break down and they need money for that.
Business people that wouldn't care, but I do.
Yeah. No, man, we treated everybody like family.
When she called me crying, I was crying with her.
Yeah.
I can't believe it happened either. So
no, exactly. Yeah. No, it's just because we do. I mean, we treated everyone like family. We ended up putting together just everything. I wanted them to advance in the company. I wanted them to make as much money as they could. If they wanted their own company, I wanted to help them. All of that stuff.
If you come in as a laborer and you really, really, really want to be a bricklayer, we're going to train you to be a bricklayer.
Yeah.
And you're going to move up from that laboring job to a bricklaying job. And if you're good enough, you'll move up to a foreman one day.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is. You just move straight on up.
Yeah, man. And then,
you just gotta have patience.
And
you can't be a laborer one day and expect the next week.
No, and
that's not going to happen.
And that is a problem. Like, I mean, I hate to keep saying the younger generation or whatever, but it is, so many of these guys want to get paid, $50 an hour right off the bat. And I'm like, it's just crazy. Yeah. I remember I
had a laborer that wanted $50 an hour. And I said, I don't pay my laborers. I don't even pay my bricklayers right now $50 an hour.
No. And
maybe if you're a foreman, but I don't think you're ever going to be a foreman with that attitude.
No, not with that attitude. Like about 6 or 7 years ago, before I sold the last company I just sold right now. But I tried to get my brother-in-law who lives in, Austin, Texas. I said, hey man, you want to come over here and do this? And because he had worked with me over the years on and off when he wasn't in and out of, trouble. But he's like, well, man, can I make $1,000 a day? And I was like, I almost just hung up on him. I'm like, dude, what is wrong with you? I said, you don't know shit. It's like, I said,
I wish I was big enough and had enough work. I could give you $1,000 a day, because that means I would be getting rich too.
Yeah, I'd be getting $5,000. I'd be getting.
Right now, I haven't paid myself.
Yeah.
Pete's gotten paid, but I haven't paid myself in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
To make sure everybody else gets paid.
Now, let me ask you now, it's so we're all the jobs and projects that you guys get now, is it all from the internet or how much is word of mouth? How do you get in the leads now?
The ones I'm getting that are commercial, I have a program and it tells me what buildings are going up and who the GCs are. And so all I have to do is have my estimator estimate those jobs and have my project manager send the proposals to those jobs. That's pretty easy actually.
Okay.
Because they're right there in front of you.
Yeah.
Everybody you need to send a proposal to, and you just got to make sure your numbers are right.
Yeah.
The local stuff is often word of mouth. I put commercials out on the local, news around Winsboro and places like that, so that I'm in front of people if they want to call me. So internet commercials, word of mouth. Some people just drive by the office. I'm on the main drag here, so.
And I know you said like a couple of your big commercial projects, you got a big banner hanging out, not just a little small baby yard sign.
Yeah, I can show you my banner. You told me to take a good picture of it, so I
did. And what about Google My Business? Are you showing up there on the maps or?
Actually, it's funny. I'm showing up right now at the top.
Yeah.
If people look for masonry.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see it or not.
Yep, hold it right there. Tilt it a little bit. Right there. Yeah. Now, how big? Yeah, how big is that?
This is a 12-foot banner.
Okay. No, that's very nice.
You can't really see it very good, but
very nice.
All it has my name, a little bit of what we do, just like one line of what we do, and then my number.
Yeah. So when someone calls you, like a lead calls you, like from the phone, I mean, how many you get 2 or 3 calls a week, or do leads come in like that? How does that work?
It actually depends. If it's around here, I usually get at least 2 calls a week.
Yeah. Around
here or more. There's weeks that I don't get any calls, but that's okay because right now I'm so far behind. I'm like, you're gonna have to wait on me.
Yeah, can't even take no more. And so, do you answer them and call them back? What's the process that you guys do for following up on leads?
If they call me, I usually write all their information down and what they want done.
Yeah.
If it's a repair job or something like that, I have them take pictures and send it to my cell phone. I'll give them my cell phone number. Yep. Then me and Pete and my estimator and my project manager will get together and see if it's something that's feasible for us to do. Get kind of a timeline.
Yeah.
In this business, the timelines don't mean anything. we can get an estimate of what time we can get to that job. A lot of times we try to, these small jobs in the area, we try to fit them in while we're still doing the big job. I'll take a bricklayer and a helper or whatever off of another job and bring them over here and start down there.
Yeah. No, that's just good relationships. That's good. Like I said, it's like you got to be known in the community. I mean, it's like, that's when you want to be in business for long term. I mean, that's the stuff that you do. Now, when did you start doing the videos?
Oh man, it hasn't really been that long ago. I started out just taking. Well, of course, I've been taking pictures the whole time since 1993. And of course, you just had the little disposable camera or whatever.
Yeah.
But as the phones got better and better, I started taking better pictures. And then I would just put them all together and make a little video with a cheap little video maker and stick it on YouTube. Yeah. And I started really enjoying that a lot. And so I started looking into how to make videos and stuff. And I'm like, wait, my phone makes videos too.
Yeah.
For a while I was thinking of that. So then I started making moving videos. I got a better application to edit and all that stuff. So now I edit my own videos, put them together, put them on YouTube. Yeah.
And I think you did because in the office that you're at right now, you've only been there a year or two?
We've been here just over 2 years.
Yeah, because I remember when you moved in, I think you did a video of the new office and stuff, right?
Yeah, I did. I got a lot of people laughing at me for that.
No, I loved it, man. I loved it.
I mean, I went from not having an office at all to having a home-based office, to having an office with people in it.
If you looked at
fish tanks.
Yeah. Hey, if you looked back to when you were dropping your husband off, helping him set up, get everything going, and then you're leaving and you're going to your full-time real job, and then back in the afternoon to help him out. Did you ever think that you'd have 15 people working for you? You'd be in this nice office. You'd be doing what you're doing?
No.
Did you ever see it that way type of thing?
I figured I would be working an extra job my whole life.
Yeah. Wow.
And it just so happened that in 2002, sorry, it was way after that. It was 2006 when my grandmother got sick. I got rid of my house. We had our own house, everything already, and I got rid of it and moved in with my granny and my grandpa. Yeah. And so I took care of them for 10 years while doing office work there.
Wow. Yeah.
And I would still every once in a while go out and help physically with the
Yeah.
labor. But
Yeah.
mostly it was staying with them, taking care of, and homeschooling two boys, because there's no way I could take them to school every day and bring them back. So I took them out of school and we homeschooled, did office work.
Yeah. Oh
when
my
they
God.
weren't doing schoolwork, they went to work with Dad.
Yeah. Because
or help me with Grandpa.
Yeah, because we homeschooled, but for the simple fact that the school system here is just so horrible and just
It's getting that way.
yeah,
Too.
yeah. So we've
There's
always
a lot
homeschooled.
of indoctrination. There really
But,
is.
yeah, but what you've built now and what you've like the foundation that you've really done, and I don't want to take no credit away from Peter. I mean, because he's the guy, but I mean, you really put together most of all this stuff. And now that with the YouTube and the videos and the stuff that you're doing, I want to talk about your book before we get out of here. But it's like, man, now your sons really can. I mean, if they could do whatever they want with this thing now. I mean, they could explode it. I mean, they could have locations all over the place.
22, and they can do whatever they want to.
Yeah, it's
If they want to. I mean, right now they're both working for me still.
Yeah.
They're both moving on up in the company.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, they could have different locations everywhere.
I want to retire eventually.
Yeah.
And let the boys have it, just with me having residual income.
Exactly.
That's my goal.
Yeah, because there's a cabinet company. I could almost throw a rock and hit it here in Anaheim near me. I think it's called Renew Cabinets or something. But it's an older couple that years ago, 70s, moved out here and started doing reborn. I think it's reborn cabinets. And but now it's like this freaking massive, probably 40 or 60 employees and their warehouse and shop and stuff. I mean, the mom and dad just really grew up, and then the two sons ended up coming in, and now it's massive. But and they've got a couple of different locations, but it's all from that groundwork that you and Peter did, and all man, you talking about walking to school uphill in the snow both ways. People don't understand what it really takes to build a foundation for a real business.
And work with your spouse every day.
Yes.
Most people get a rest, they go home or go to their job, and they go to their job, and
I wish my wife wasn't camera shy. She wouldn't even do freaking still pictures, much less get on a video and talk.
I used to be that way, and then I figured out people don't really look at you.
Yeah.
What you're saying.
Yeah, because man, the argument stories that we could tell about having to overcome when you're working together, and but it's just you figure it out, and for me, like I said, it's like I knew how dumb I was because I quit school at 16. I knew I didn't know anything, so I was I didn't have any kind of an ego, so I just reached out and went. I was just so hungry to learn, like, man, what the heck, I know how to use my hands, but what's this business part of it? And that's what I'm trying to do with all of this stuff.
That's why I took over.
Yeah.
We were working pretty much together, but he did most of the stuff, I think, except for some of the office work or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized I needed to take more of the burden off of him. So we structured to the LLC. Well, before that even, I took over the job. I took over majority ownership, and that way I took most of what needed to be done. He became my operations manager. He takes care of all the field work.
Yeah.
Since I had the injury and I couldn't lay brick or labor anymore, then I stayed in the office and did all that extra stuff. Now I've got other people that can take that burden off me, and I can concentrate on my videos, my portfolios, and I do my own marketing.
And you did
I also consult and market for other people too.
Good for you. And you did that booklet, I think. Tell me about the booklet.
I've revamped it, and it's going to be it will be on Amazon pretty soon, but it's not there yet.
Man, good for you.
This is one of them, and it's going to be smaller.
Okay, I got you.
It looks like a professional contractor, how to stand out from your competition. And it's only 11 pages. It's not very long.
No, that's all you need.
It's not very long. It just kind of gives you an overview. And then I've got one that I give out to homeowners instead of giving out business cards. By the way. And this one's not done yet, but as soon as it gets done, I've changed it too, and I will also put it on Amazon.
Man, good for
How
you.
you vet your contractor.
Yeah. I mean, and that's valuable content that I keep telling every contractor.
That one's not a book yet. That's just
But
I printed out so you could see it.
yeah. And then because it's that stuff that makes you dominate, and that's what this whole thing is, dominate your trade. But it's like, man, when you dominate the whole area over there in McKinley and Dallas and stuff, it's like, because that kind of stuff, like vet the contractors, it's just stuff that homeowners don't know, business owners don't know.
Well, see, if you look on, and this drove me crazy. It's one of the reasons I wrote that, and I'm also writing a big book.
Yeah.
For homeowners, how to build your own home, how to build your own home. Sorry about that. And it goes through all of that too. I think I'm on chapter 4 on that one. But they don't know this kind of stuff.
No, they don't. Like
you get on social media and you'll see them say, well, this contractor took off with $10,000 of my money. Well, why did you give them $10,000 of your money for? Well, that's what they wanted. They wanted me to give them the whole thing. No, you don't give them the whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, then somebody will, every time will say, well, don't give them any money. You don't give any kind of down payment.
Yeah, and well, that ain't right either. No, exactly.
What my down payment for, and I always let them know that.
Yeah.
What my down payment for is to hold your place.
Yeah.
In my roster.
Yeah, so in my schedule.
If you don't give me a down payment, I can't put you down in my schedule.
No, and most when you tell, longer. Yeah, because when you tell homeowners that, you go, hey, I got 6 guys, I got 8 guys. I mean, we've I'm scheduling these guys to work, and I've got to depend on you. You're depending on me. If I say I'm going to be there, we're going to be there. You're not going to be at the front door wondering where we're at. We're going to show up when we say we're going to show up, but we need to make sure that you got some skin in the game too. I mean, that's all it and every homeowner is going to because we're home. It's like we're all just people. You've been writing the blogs too, though. Did you just take the blogs and kind of put them in book form, or when did you start?
I didn't start my blog till like 3 months ago.
Is that right? Okay.
And I haven't actually kept up with it that well, so it doesn't have a lot on it, but I will be putting more on there pretty soon.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm going to do is just take my book and put different things in. Why would you have to pay a down payment,
Yeah, exactly.
Why is the job taking longer than you said it was going to take? It just gives the homeowners a sense of security.
Yeah.
Knowing that you're not taking your money.
Yeah.
And then not doing anything for them.
Yeah.
Or even with the vetting the contractor, knowing who you're getting that's going to come in your house. You don't want somebody in your house that's going to rob you.
Nope, that's my wife's biggest thing.
Shirt on,
my wife was like, "Don't be bringing no crackheads over here. They're scoping the place out."
That's about homeowners, and I also do different things on my blog to help other contractors. There's a lot of legal stuff, especially when you get into commercial. That's hard to understand, and each state is different. But like the state of Texas, the lien process is hard to understand. Like my McKinney job, I can't even put a lien on that because it's a state job, and people don't understand that. They're saying I'm not getting paid, and it's like go to a lawyer, and tell them you need to put a bond claim, so that your money is secure whether you've got it now or not. At least you know you're gonna get it. So it's a lot of legal stuff they don't understand. So I've put all kinds of stuff like that on there.
And then too is like that how to vet a contractor is like, I don't know, you or me or one of us. I hope Anthony James ain't still watching because he's a general contractor. But we almost need to write one for subcontractors on how to vet general contractors. Which general contractor you don't want to work for?
So the current one we're on right now, I'll probably never work for them again.
Yeah.
And it's just because they're. You can tell what they're doing.
Yeah.
And if I had gone back, because we were wanting this job so bad.
Yeah.
Just because of where it is and it's a really fancy block, really fancy brick. So this is going to be a really good portfolio for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if I had gone back to look at the contractor that won it, they've got 1 star. Because in every one of them, slow pay. You eventually get your money.
Yeah.
But my size company, we're not huge.
Yeah.
We're not even considered medium size.
Yeah.
We're still considered very small with 16 employees.
Yeah.
So that doesn't help me any. I need I need them to be able to pay me on
Yeah.
time and pay my vendors. I've got right now they haven't paid my tractor rental
Yeah.
for 3
Wow.
months. So they're wanting to come get my tractor. So I sent
Yeah.
them an email and I said, y'all aren't paying us. And
Yeah.
well, now they're going to pay my tractor, which means they have the money.
Yeah.
It's not letting go of it.
Yeah. The last big commercial.
Yeah, I think vetting, that might be my next one.
It is. It's
How
like,
to vet other contractors.
and
Make sure you're going to get paid on time.
yeah, it's man, because like so many of the contractors, not all of them, there's some good ones out there. I got some really good friends that are good contractors, and
Oh yeah,
there's still some people, but man, but some of, I mean, so many of them like are homeowner will pay the general contractor to pay the subs, and they use that money to pay off 3 months bills ago, and then lie to the subcontractor and all that. I've been through all the games.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
With commercial work, it's a completely different set of rules.
Yeah.
And if you don't know those rules, you may not get paid for a long time. I know contractors that are out there right now, and I've tried to talk to them. I said, you need to go get you a lawyer, retain him, ask him questions, because they're doing it all wrong. They're trying to put liens on a state project, and that's not going to work. They just laugh at you. But you got.
If you don't know that, you don't. Yeah, because if you don't know that, you don't know.
Yeah, and there's a rule in the state of Texas that they have to tell you how they are trying to get the money.
Yeah.
So right now I'm 70 days late getting a check.
Wow.
So I email them every day. What have you done today?
Yeah.
And they don't want to tell you, but legally they have to tell you how they're trying to get their money so they can pay you.
Yeah. Because we I mean, like it's like, because we built up such a reputation through videos and everything, online appearances and stuff. It's like, even now when contractors, with like, if they'll call and stuff, it's like, man, we don't work for contractors. Here's why. And they, oh, I understand that. And they got their little system of how they do things. I was like, look, maybe we can work together, but here's how it's got to be. And I don't want to be a jerk, but this is just, and we're doing some big stuff for a huge contractor that all they do is restoration stuff, big time history things. And they wanted us so bad. It's like they had to change a lot of their rules, to get us paid in advance. According to them, it's in advance.
People some subcontractors, not all of them, but a lot of them do not know that contract that the general contractor sends you is not written in stone until you sign it.
Yeah.
So you can go through there, or you can have a lawyer look at it. You can have an attorney look at it and say, this doesn't look right. This doesn't, and have them change it. Read it thoroughly. And if there's something you're not comfortable with, tell the GC. Yeah. And they either want you bad enough, they'll change it, or they don't want you bad enough, and you don't have the job again. But you would rather not have the job than run into some trouble because. Oh my God!
Yeah, and the times that I found myself in trouble was that reason. I needed work so bad that I said yes to something I knew I shouldn't say yes to, but I'm like, I need it, and
we've all done it.
Yeah, something goes wrong, and now you're really crying. It's like, oh,
if people would listen to us now, they wouldn't have to go through that.
No, it is. I'm telling you, man, with the internet and everything that I've learned,
they should be able to learn.
Yeah, how it is.
Overcome obstacles.
Yeah, well, Tiffany, I appreciate you spending this hour with us, and it seems like it's been 2 minutes.
I know.
Hey, what do you see next for the company with the sons and everything? And I know you hired 2 new office managers just to kind of free up some of your time. And I don't know, your sons grow up, they get married, you're going to have the grandkids. You don't want to be at work, but like you said, the sons can kind of take it over and run it. You get the residual income.
That's the eventual outcome is that residual. And then I can work on my blogs and my consultations and my social media management and get that extra income as well.
Yes.
I would really like to move into a travel trailer on a plot of land, and I could just take my house anywhere I want to go.
Yep. Me and the wife. That's
down the road. That's a ways down the road.
Yeah, because me and the wife, we got the 5th wheel, and we've been doing a lot of that. We just want to do more. And
we haven't really got the chance to do all that much yet.
The kids are a double-edged sword. It's like, man, you don't want to leave them. You got to be there, and it's if I didn't have the kids, ain't no telling where I'd end up. I've been trying to convince all of them to move to Texas, and I'm losing the battle. But we'll see. I'm gonna end up eventually winning it.
Don't bring them down here, this week, because
Yeah. Nothing. Well, because I tell you, like, the brother-in-law is in Austin, or outside of Austin. I forgot the little town, but yeah, we've got a lot of friends that all moved to Texas or lived in Texas. It's crazy. But then my relatives in North Carolina are like, boy, you better not move to Texas. Get your ass home. And I miss North Carolina.
Carolinas.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. It's like, if anyone watching, I'm telling you, is you can find Tiffany online and the YouTube channel and stuff. But man, she helps a lot of contractors reach out to her. Like she said, she knows so much about it. She's been in the trenches. You got questions, kind of reach out to her. Anything you'd like to say before we get out of here, Tiffany?
Yeah. I would love to help anybody. I've mentored a lot of people and consulted with companies. Anytime anybody needs some help, let me know, and I will put the links to my books when they get on Amazon and put them in your
throw those in the group and share all of that. Because I'm going to a seminar. This will be one of the first seminars I've went to in probably 15 years that I wasn't speaking at in Vegas for 3 days, and it's like this guy Gary V, who is like internet guru of the world, and then this another guy that's David Patrick, and just a whole bunch of the Sean Canner guy is like a YouTube dude, but it's all about it's a big ticket seminar, but it's how to use your cell phone and how to really build your business using video. And that's how when I got back into construction the second time, that's what exploded the business was video, and I sold that company. And then I'm thinking, man, I want to learn even more so I can share it with these guys, because it really is changing the way business people do business and how you market.
And I've got 2 articles coming out in Masonry Magazine. The first one is on how women can conduct themselves as leaders without getting frustrated with the male-dominated thing.
Yeah.
I've done it, so I know.
Yep.
And then the other one is on how to get a contractor to pay.
Yeah.
So
good for you. Yeah. When those come out, send us. Try to keep us abreast of those and send us and share us those links.
Okay.
If there are links. So anyway, guys, appreciate it. Brian Adams here, the contractor's contractor. I don't even think I said that in the beginning. It's another episode we're just finishing up of Dominate Your Trade, Kick Your Competition's Ass. Thank you so much to Miss Tiffany. Keep us in touch, guys. Yep. We'll do it again next week. Thanks.